Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. Um, my name is Jameelah, and I'm a master manifestor. The name of this channel is Manifesting Magic the Practical Way because there are a lot of practicalities to manifest in the lives that we choose, right? So, my apologies for the long pause. Um, some thought hit me really quickly, right? What I'm discussing today is the importance of hitting the reset button and relaxation when it comes to your lives, right? Because I was thinking about this. Me as a busy, I've always been. If you have kids, if you have more than one, it's always going to be this person needs that, they need that. They're like appendages. They're like extensions of you, right? You calling off sick to work. If the kids are sick, you're sick. It's the same thing. There's no getting around it. You're definitely attached to them at the hip. Everything that they need, you need pretty much. So in these type of environments, it's easy to get burnt out pretty quickly when it comes to like working on things. Because I know I recently did a really, really fun. I did a TED talk recently. It was very fun. When the link is released, I'm going to put the video out here, or I'll put a link to it or something like that. But I was discussing artificial intelligence and how it impacts the household, those sort of things. And I really enjoyed the TED talk, but I was nerve wracking, and it took like a few weeks out of my life, and like doing all that. Then it's like I went straight back into the office and started working on other things and just kind of like glossed over it. And then immediately one of my daughters got sick, and I'm like, wait, put the brakes on, right? Because I think sometimes we get so used to being on the schedules of everybody else in the world that we don't realize that we have our own schedule that we need to be adhering to. And our own schedules is, how is our body functioning? How is it maneuvering in this environment? How are we faring? Is it doing well? Are we taking enough time to ourselves? Are we getting enough rest? Are we drinking enough water? Are we eating enough, right? And I can honestly say none of those things are true for me for the past couple of weeks, right? I definitely know I have not been eating every day, eating once a day and maybe a small meal, maybe barely eating at work. And so the important part is to remember that is when you get psychologically off track like that, and you have a big thing that you're working on, and then that thing is over, it's so important just to take some downtime and just like whoosh when that thing is over, right? And take a break from it. I think it's so quickly that we forget all the time that we are not computers. We don't just operate nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. We have to take a break and then reassess what we're doing. And I think that's also said on a daily basis, but it's also said in your life, your plan basis, right? I know I've had several times in my life where I stopped and I looked around and I was like, I don't really like what I'm creating right now. I want to do something else, right? And you might have had that same thing too. And if you don't stop and take a moment and look around and go, hey, this is not working for me. Hey, this is working for me. Hey, then you never truly know what's happening in your environment because you're always chasing it, right? Um, Chasing in an environment always makes you feel like you're not on top of your stuff. So even if you have like a light schedule or the schedule's not so awful, but the workload is a lot, whatever the balance is you have in your life, if you don't hit the reset button and decide, okay, I don't care what this person needs from me. I don't care what this one, that one, that one, that one, that one expects of me. I am not willing to live my life like this. I am not willing to do this thing, blah, blah, blah. I am not willing to, work myself into the ground for this, blah. You have to decide. You have to put those boundaries up because I'll be honest with you. Every environment I've been in, every type of people I've been around, whether it's been a relationship, whether it's my own children, whether it's siblings, whether it's parents, whether it's a workplace, whatever. If you do not tell people that you need a break or that you are overwhelmed, they truly don't get it. And I'm not going to say that they can't tell you're overwhelmed. Sometimes people can, but they don't care if they're getting what they want most of the time. And it's not that they don't care. If you're allowing it to be your own thing and you don't make it a part of what their lives, a lot of people will let you go on and wear yourself the hell out. They will let you wear yourself the hell out. You can say something is bothering you to your core. They will let you wear yourself out because they want what they want. And people are like that, right? Like, especially, I look at this in people's relationships all the time. When you look around, there's always a push and pull, like somebody wanting something more than the other person, someone being more this and more that. And the thing about it is, if you're not tough and you don't stake your feet in the ground and be like, this is what I'm not willing to do, you'll get pushed and pulled because you would think that people on the other end, that they're like, since this isn't working for everybody, let me see if there's something else I can figure out to make this work for everybody. No, if they're getting what they want, they're going to keep on getting what they want. And that's everybody related to you. They're not bad people. People are really just self-centered, more so than what everybody will ever admit. Even people that call themselves martyrs, and they're doing it all for their children and the family, and they've sacrificed themselves. They did it because it made them feel better. I used to say this when I was little all the time, and I understood this when I was a kid. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes when you're a kid, you understand some things. First of all, I thought some adults were stupid, and I still stand on that. Some were. I was brought up in an environment where you couldn't think adults were stupid. You'd be like, I don't think that lady's very smart. And other people are telling you, no, they are. You respect them. They're adults. And so you're thinking, okay, well, I'm a kid. I just must be wrong about what I know I'm seeing in this person because they're telling me this person's the opposite. So a lot of times we lie to children and then they go off in the world and we wonder why they can't think for themselves. Another one commonly is that whole what people are doing in society and what they're creating. I used to always say this when I was young. I used to be like, it seems to me that we don't do anything for anybody else, that everything we do at the end of the day only has our own perspective and it's really for us. And I remember someone saying, like, that's not true. I got yelled at for that. And they're like, that's not true. They're saints. There are people that volunteer at the church and this and that. I'm like, but they're still doing it for themselves. I had to be around 11 or 12 years old. It wasn't a negative thing to me. It was just a fact. I'm like, well, in order for you to do it and you do it because it helps other people, helping other people makes you feel good, right? Then that's why we're doing it. And you say, no, I'm doing it because I want to help other people first. But I'm like, there's no checks and balances there. You can't know what it is to help other people if there's not some type of response that you're given physiologically, mentally, or something like that. So you're doing it because there's some mental benefit for you, because you want to live in a world where you believe that it's a good thing for people to help others out. That's still self-centered. It's nothing wrong with it, though. It's like we get all up in this hoopla about, there's nothing wrong with the self-centeredness about it. It is self-centered to do charitable work. It is self-centered to help other people. It is self-centered to be a good mom. It is self-centered to raise children that you respect and love, because it is important to you and you create this scenario and you develop it based on what would please you. So even people that sell their self-sacrifice and their martyrs and all this for their families and this and that, those kind of women, and believe me, I'm a woman. I have children. I meet a lot of them constantly. And I'm like, just know you're doing that for yourself, because your kids aren't going to care about it 20 years from now, 15. You're sacrificing for yourself. That's not their job. So you have to remember that a lot of times. When you get into that self-sacrificing mode, you're doing it for yourself. Just be honest about it. It's not for other people. You can not want to do something all you want, but at the end of the day, you're getting something out of it. Either the feeling of not having the pain of disappointing someone, or the feeling of being able to do something for someone that makes you feel good. There's nothing wrong with it, but at the end of the day, we are self-centered beings. There's no other perspective we can have but our own. So even when we think something is good for somebody, it's just coming from our perspective and what we believe that would work for them, right? So just keep that in mind, that there's no level of sacrificing that you can do of yourself that other people are just going to be like, oh, you're so amazing for. It may be said and all, but at the end of the day, if it's not something that you genuinely care about, you're going to want to regretting or paying the price for it. And then another thing, because I'm a female and I say this kind of stuff, so people can call me a hard ass a lot of times because I'm real straight to the point with a lot of things. But it is what it is, That's probably where that practicality came on with manifesting magic, because I can get woo-woo, but there's only so much woo-woo you can do in a very practical and tangible world, You can tap into it and take enough of you if you want, but you can't just live a whole life in woo-woo, magical, because we're not in that part of our journey. This realm is a physical, tangible realm. And it works with other people. When we are in the realm where we are fully only spirit, then those things that we decide that we want won't even matter, because all of this other stuff is really only stuff that's attached to this physical world, like the houses, the cars, where we want to live, the schools we want to go to, all these sort of things, right? So it's just important to keep in mind that there's a very, very self-centered aspect to manifesting life that you choose, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it also doesn't have to step on other people in any kind of way. We can avoid that too, right? But then you also have to remember that no matter how much of this that you do, you have to watch you. You have to look out for you. You have to reset you. You have to hit the reset button, because other people, they don't know when you need rest and relaxation. And you'll be just like, but I sacrificed everything for you. They don't care. They care to an extent, but they don't care. You got to care more than everybody. I think one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in life, if I made at any point in my life, was expecting that somebody else is supposed to care about me as much as I care about myself. And it's not even possible for them to do that. I need to care about me and my outcomes and my survival and who I am and what I create way more than anybody else on this planet, because that is who it's important to. And then I can be a good mother. And then I can be a good partner, a good wife, a good mate, or something like that. And then I can be a good sibling. And then I can be a good aunt. And then I can be a good daughter. And then I can be a good, friend. You have to get these things in place for yourself first. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you're regulating all of your interactions. You're regulating the amount of energy that you're giving out to things, and you're regulating the amount of time and energy that you give to this outside world. Because I'll tell you one thing, I've watched it happen several places I've been. People die. There's a lady had a stroke. She must have worked for the college for 15 years. I remember hooking up her computer and everything. She was phenomenal. She did speaking engagements. She did this and that and all that. She had one son, I remember. She had a stroke. She was in her 50s when we were working there. You know what they did with her stuff after 2 weeks? I was in charge of computers and putting things on people's desks. All of her things were in a box sitting outside of her door while she was in a coma from a stroke. And in about a month, nobody was even talking about her anymore, except for, can we get those files she had on her desktop? Can we get those files for this? So I'm letting you know that these places don't care about you. Keep that in mind. It's nice to have a few friends and all that kind of stuff, but these places, they're hamster wheels. They just do this. You're a cog, and nobody wants to be called a cog, but you are, and it's okay. You're a cog. And the minute you slip out, somebody else gets thrown right in there. A cog, right? And even if you do something extra special, when you're going, oh, we used to have this extra special thing we really like to do, but we can't do it anymore. They're just bringing someone else who does another new extra special thing. Hit the reset button, because these places that you're attached to, they will hit it on you in a second. Hit it as much as you need to. Don't worry about looking bad or being this or being that. Hit the reset button as much as you need to, because life is not about just working and going to sleep and getting back up and doing that again. Life is about so much more things. And sometimes you need a day to remind yourself that. Hope this message finds you in good spirits and that you are manifesting magic in the life that you choose. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.